Homer's Odyssey, Book 4, continued. The suitors had noticed that Telemachus was gone and, had now set about plotting. And so we pick up there. This all applauded, and gave charge to do, rose, and to great Ulysses' house did go. But long time passed not, ere Penelope had notice of their far-fetched treachery. Medon the herald told her, who had heard without the hall how they within conferred, and hasted straight to tell it to the queen, who, from the entry having meet unseen, prevents him thus. Now, herald, what affair intend the famous wooers in your repair? To tell Ulysses' maids that they must cease from doing our work, and their banquets dress? I would to heaven that, leaving wooing me, nor ever troubling other company, here might the last feast be, and most extreme, that ever any shall address for them. They never meet but to consent in spoil, and keep the free fruits of another's toil. Oh, did they never, when they children were, what to their fathers was Ulysses here? Who never did 'gainst any one proceed with unjust usage, or in word or in deed. 'Tis yet with other kings another right, one to pursue with love another spite. He still yet just, nor would, though might devour, nor to the worst did ever taste of power. But their unruled acts should show their might's estate. Good turns received once, thanks grow out of date. Medon, the learned in wisdom, answered her, I wish, O queen, that their ingratitudes were their worst ill toward you, but worse by far, and much more deadly, their endeavors are, which Jove will fail them in. Telemachus their purpose is, as he returns to us, to give their sharp steels in a cruel death. Who now is gone to learn if fame can breathe news of his sire, and will the Pylian shore and sacred Sparta in his search explore. This news dissolves to her both knees and heart. Long silence held her ere one word would part. Her eyes stood full of tears, her small soft voice all late use lost. That yet at last had choice of wanted words, which briefly thus she used. Why left my son his mother? Why refused his wit the solid shore to try the seas, and put in ships the trust of his distress? That are at sea to man unbridled horse, and run past rule their far engaged course, amidst a moisture past all mean unstayed. No need compel this, did he, afraid to live and leave posterity his name? I know not, he replied, if the humour came from current of his own instinct, or flowed from others' instigations, but he vowed attempt to Pylos, or to see descried his sire's return, or know what death he died. This said, he took him to Ulysses' house after the wooers. The Ulyssean spouse, run through with woes, let torture seize her mind, nor in her choice of state chairs stood inclined to take her seat, but the abject threshold chose of her fair chamber for her loathed repose, and mourned most wretch-like. Round about her fell her handmaids, joined in a continuate yell. From every course of the palace, all degrees, tuned to her comforts fall, their own dejection, to whom her complaints she thus enforced. The gods, beyond constraint of any measure, urged these tears on me, nor was there ever dame of my degree so past degree grieved. First, a lord so good, that had such hearty spirits in his blood, that all the virtues was adorned withal, that all the Greeks did their superior call, to part with thus, and lose. And now a son so worthily beloved, a course to run beyond my knowledge, whom rude tempests have made far from home his most inglorious grave. Unhappy wenches, that no one of all, though in the reach of every one must fall his taking ship, sustain the careful mind, to call me from my bed, who thus designed and most vowed course in him had either stayed, how much soever hasted, or dead laid he should have left me. Many a man I have that would have called old Dolius my slave, that keeps my orchard, whom my father gave at my departure, to have run and told Laertes this, to try if he could hold from running through the people and from tears, in telling them of these vowed murderers, that both divine Ulysses' hope and his resolved to end in their conspiracies. His nurse then, Euryclea, made reply, Dear sovereign, let me with your own hands die, or cast me off here. I'll not keep from thee one word of what I know. He trusted me with all his purpose, and I gave him all the bread and wine for which he pleased to call. But then a mighty oath he made me swear, not to report it to your royal ear before the 12th day either should appear, or you should ask me when you had heard him gone. Impair not then your beauties with your moan, but wash and put untiered stained garments on. Ascend your chamber with your ladies here, and pray the seed of goat-nursed Jupiter, divine Athenia, to preserve your son, and she will save him from confusion. The old king, to whom your hopes stand so inclined for his great counsels, you perhaps may find unfit affected for his age's sake. But heaven kings wax not old, and therefore make fit prayers to them. For my thoughts never will believe the heavenly powers conceit so ill the seed of righteous Arcesides, to end it utterly, but still will please in some place evermore some one of them to save, and deck him with a diadem, give him possession of erected towers, and far-stretched fields, crowned all of fruits and flowers. This eased her heart, and dried her humorous eyes, when, having washed, and weeds of sacrifice pure and unstained with her distrustful tears, put on, with all her woman ministers, up to a chamber of most height she rose, and cakes of salt and barley did impose within a wicker basket, all which broke in decent order, thus she did invoke. Great Virgin of the goat-preserved God, if ever the inhabited abode of wise Ulysses held the fatted thighs of sheep and oxen, make thy sacrifice by his devotion. Hear me, nor forget his pious services, but safe see set his dear son on these shores, and banish hence these wooers past all mean and insolence. This said she shrieked, and Pallas heard her prayer. The wooers broke with tumult all the air about the shady house, and one of them, whose pride his youth had made the more extreme, said, Now the many wooer-honored queen will surely satiate her delayful spleen, and one of us in instant nuptials take. Poor dame, she dreams not what design we make upon the life and slaughter of her son. So said he, but so said was not so done. Whose arrogant spirit, in a vaunt so vain, Antinous chid, and said, For shame, contain these braving speeches. Who can tell who hears? Are we not now in reach of others' ears? If our intentions please us, let us call our spirits up to them, and let speeches fall. By watchful danger men must silent go. What we resolve on, let's not say, but do. This said, he choosed out 20 men that bore best reckoning with him, and to ship and shore all hasted, reached the ship, launched, raised the mast, put sails in, and with leather loops made fast the oars. Sails hoisted, arms their men did bring, all giving speed and formed everything. Then to the high deeps, their rigged vessel driven, they supped, expecting the approaching even. Mean space. Penelope her chamber kept, and bed, and neither eat, nor drank, nor slept. Her strong thoughts wrought so on her blameless son, still in contention, if he should be done to death, or escape the impious wooer's design. Look how a lion, whom men troops combine to hunt, and close him in a crafty ring, much varied thought conceives, and fear doth sting for urgent danger. So fared she till sleep, all juncture of her joints and nerves did steep in his dissolving humour. When at rest, Pallas her favours varied, and addressed an idol, that Iphthyma did present in structure of her every lineament, great souled Icarius' daughter, whom for spouse Eumelus took, that kept in Pyrrhus' house. This to divine Ulysses' house she sent, to try her best mean how she might content mournful Penelope, and make relent the strict addiction in her to deplore. This idol, like a worm that less or more contracts or strains her, did itself convey beyond the wards of winding of the key into the chamber, and above her head, her seat assuming, thus she comforted distressed Penelope. Doth sleep thus seize thy powers, afflicted with so much disease? The gods, that nothing troubles, will not see thy tears nor griefs, in any least degree sustained with cause. For they will guard thy son, safe to his wished and native mansion, since he is no offender of their states, and they to such are firmer than their fates. The wise Penelope received her thus, round with a slumber most delicious, and in the port of dreams, O sister, why repair you hither, since so far off lie your house and household? You were never here before this hour, and would you now give cheer to my so many woes and miseries, affecting fitly all the faculties my soul and mind hold, having lost before a husband that of all the virtues bore the palm among the Greeks, and whose renown so ample was that fame the sound hath blown through Greece and Argos to her very heart, and now again a son that did convert my whole powers to his love. By ship is gone, a tender plant that yet was never grown to labor's taste, nor the commerce of man. For whom more than my husband I complain, and lest he should at any sufferance touch or in the sea, or by the men so much estranged to him that must his consorts be, fear and chill tremblings shake each joint of me. Besides, his dangers set on foes professed to waylay his return, that have addressed plots for his death. The scarce discerned dream said, Be of comfort, nor fears so extreme let thus dismay thee. Thou hast such a maid attending thee, as some at any rate would wish to purchase, for her power is great. Minerva pities thy delights' defeat, whose grace hath sent me to foretell thee these. If thou, said she, be of the goddesses, and heardst her tell thee these, thou mayst as well from her tell all things else. Deign then to tell, if yet the man to all misfortunes born, my husband, lives, and sees the sun adorn the darksome earth, or hides his wretched head in Pluto's house, and lives among the dead. I will not, she replied, my breath exhale in one continued and perpetual tale, lives he or dies he. 'Tis a filthy use to be in vain and idle speech profuse. This said, she, through the keyhole of the door, vanished again into the open door. Icarius' daughter started from her sleep, and joy's fresh humour her loved breast did steep, when now so clear in that first watch of night she saw the seen dream vanish from her sight. The wooer's ship the sea's moist waves did ply, and thought the prince a haughty death should die. There lies a certain island in the sea, twixt rocky Samos and rocky Ithaca, that cliffy is itself, and nothing great, yet holds convenient havens that two ways let ships in and out, called Asteres. And there the wooers hope to make their massacre.